Hey everybody, this is Teal39 again, once here with Bolt Invest, and today we are going to be going over our BYND Beyond Meat BYND play that was alerted in the Discord. Now this is one of our longer plays because it is a March expiry. We have already taken a bunch off this position because it clearly went up quite a bit in a very short amount of time. We do have runners on this play, but again, this is one of those plays that lots of people were DMing me about because they were unsure of it. It had been sitting at a bit of a loss. We were considering averaging down on it. It just had so much time to expiry. This was one of the plays that I was quite confident in. Reassured everyone that this was safe to hold. Lots of people did decide to cut out of it already, and that's totally okay. You know, you're responsible for your own money. At the end of the day, just remember that, what I'm saying in this, video, as well as alerting in the Discord, it is not supposed to be financial advice. They're just my thoughts, my opinions, and they are to be taken as such. And so if you decide that the play is not for you, or you want to reserve the capital for another play, that is totally cool. But I'm going to spend this time to kind of walk you guys through where I came up with this play and why I thought it was going to go where it was going to go. So here I've just emptied out the chart. You can clearly see that, BYND has taken off, previously. Hit a little bit of resistance, but, this was a significant pop from about 116, 115, all the way up to like 142. This was quite a good play here. So I'm just going to start mapping things out. This is a 4-hour chart. Maybe I can even go to the daily. So the daily chart's here. So, right away what I saw was that there's this base forming right in this middle here. So I'm just going to prop a line roughly here. So that would be kind of like the base that I don't expect it to cross over. And if it crosses over by a little bit, that's okay. I'll adjust that line. But let's move back to my favorite time frame, the 3-hour chart. And we'll zoom in on this a little bit. I mean, that line actually looks pretty exact, but I'm going to adjust it a little bit here. Let's move that up ever so slightly. Now, we have a couple candles that have touched below, so I am willing to give it maybe up to this bottom candle, a couple of these wicks here, that as another support. And then the bottom of these wicks here, top of this wick, top of this resistance near that chop. I mean, this is a wick here. There's a lot of consolidation here. I'd say maybe around here would be my absolute base. And that's like definitely cut out before that. But here, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to label that. So that is my stop loss. Stop loss and support 1. This will be stop loss and support 2. So that's kind of where I'm drawing lines for myself. If you don't go into the play without a plan, you're gonna watch it drop, and you're gonna keep watching it, and you're gonna keep saying, "Oh, well, I'm just gonna give it another 5%, another 5%, 5%," and little do you know, everything's gone. So I put these lines here because I know where this place is gonna go, and if it breaks these rules, I'm out. No emotions, no feelings. This is just what the trade is supposed to play out. This will be my entry and bounce. So off that green line. So, as we're coming around, I do see, this is kind of where I see it curl a little bit. So this was alerted in the Discord somewhere kind of right around this bounce. I wanted to see the confirmation first because I knew there's a little bit of a wick here, but the next couple candles, right, end of that day, I end up entering the play on this little green candle here. And that's just because I think that it's a good bounce off of really solid base. Look at all these touches, and it kind of keeps going. And a lot of these touches come up actually with big bounces, right? There's one touch here, a retest, pulls back all the way up. There's going to be another one that kind of bounces off here and goes all the way up. Like, look at how high this goes. So I'm expecting this to bounce. And if it can get past all this chop, we got a lot of room to go. So that was my bounce entry. So let's actually take a look at this larger trend here. So I'm going to go back to that daily just to draw a couple of these lines. So I'm going to draw, let's see, a little bit of a line right around there. Right through. So that's kind of a bit of a bounce, a resistance after the pullback. And let's see, a little bit of a, actually a little bit of a triangle here. So get right on there. That's following a trend. So you can see the little triangle forming. So let's take a look at that. So it had not officially broken out. It was a bit of a bounce. It was a bit of a bounce here, but it hadn't actually cleared. It was just sitting at such a base, I decided to take an early entry on it. But it hadn't actually confirmed, and in which case it actually came down. Pulled up a little bit, looked like we were going in the right direction, and then we had a couple bad market days, and we sank. We pulled back up a little bit, acted as resistance this time, and then came all the way down again, but held the support really well. So it held the second support and it bounced back up, and that's kind of why I was safe to hold it here. And this is where the contracts were down maybe 30%, 40%. And, you know, I was comfortable holding solely because we had so much time and I was pretty convinced that this line was going to hold. Now, if it didn't hold, I probably would have cut it at the end of a day if it was unable to hold that level for over a day. But I had so much time on these, I might have risked it anyway. But in any case, we pull all the way back up and we actually test that 200 moving average, and now it's resistance. And lo and behold, look at that level, right? Respecting that level really, really well. That's why we cut most of our position right at the top here, leaving only runners. And I may scale back in at some point, but I think it's going to bounce. And we can figure out where it's going to bounce, right? So when I look at this big play, let's take a look at this. From the top to that bottom, where's it going to go? Look at that rejection, right at the golden pocket there. And I would expect similar lines here, right? It bounces off that fib, that 0.382, and it acts as resistance. But, you know, how far is it going to come down, right? Where should I expect to bounce? Maybe I should get out here and then get back in on the bounce, right? You never know. But if I take a look at this one from here, it could actually retest all the way back down to that green. So I got to be careful here. I don't think it's going to test that far. It may test that 100-day moving average as it lines up with the 0.38 fib. So again, I'm retracing. So the previous time I was retracing from this high to low to see where it would hit resistance. And I can go from low to high to see where it will find support, right? So this would be a strong support. I would not expect for this to return to our entry point ever. That fib alone should be enough as a support. But that's how you can get price targets, right? So right away, right, my first price target was going to be to match this level. Then it was going to be to get to the golden pocket. And then the last one was going to be a full retracement to 100% of previous high, possibly leaving runners for breaking the all-time high, depending on time frames here, right? So that'd be your third PT up there. This is our second, this is our second PT here. So PT2 on the yellow. So the yellows are going to be our take profit levels. So this is why I like to develop a trading plan, because as the trade is going south on you, then you can look back on this plan and see exactly what you should expect. And like in our previous video, right, where would we expect for this to bounce? Is it reasonably going to create a new high? Let's look at all the times it bounced off this trend line, right? So let's look at this bounce here on that line. Let's change this color to white so we don't mix up our colors here. So that's one bounce. I mean, here's another bounce. This one's kind of a bounce around that level. Kind of went to a high of here. This one's a strong one. This one kind of went all the way up this high. Now let's move them all, right? So this is just a little experiment that I do sometimes. Let's move this one first. So that's going to be one that you expect, possibly. And here's like another one, a little bit off. This is the third one. Again, possibly there. And then a fourth one that's possibly all the way to that first fib. So if you look at that comparison, we at least got our first move in. I think that's going to retrace a little bit before it moves back in. So I may scale back into the position if I need to. If it drops below my entry, I don't think it will. So it depends how far it drops. I may just average up and re-enter the position. If it holds, this base here, this could be a good area where it bounces as well. So might channel here for a little bit, but I'll look for a strong bounce and a clear. But in any case, that's kind of how we come up with this plan, this trading plan. Yeah, I mean, if you guys have any questions, shoot me a message on Discord or message me on Twitter. I am Teal 31 391. So Teal 391 on Twitter. Feel free to follow me. Feel free to shoot me a message or anything like that. And yeah, have fun trading.